class! So today's math lesson is going to look a little bit different than normal. Sometimes you will see me on it and sometimes you will not. So let's go ahead and get started with today's math lesson. You will find today's math lesson on page 599 and 601. So let's go ahead and get started. Today's lesson is lesson 10.7, Estimate and Measure Liquid Volume. Essential question: how can you estimate and measure liquid volume in metric units? First, we're going to unlock the problem. Liquid volume is the amount of liquid in a container. So it's the amount of liquid in the container. This is a measuring beaker, and it's the amount of liquid in there. The liter is the basic metric unit for measuring liquid volume. So this is filled up to the 1 liter mark. Activity 1. You may follow along at home if it's okay with an adult. Otherwise, you can follow along here with me in the video. Alright, our materials: a 1 liter beaker, 4 containers, water, and tape. Step 1. Fill a 1 liter beaker with water to the 1 liter mark. I've done that beforehand, so I will show you all. Here's a 1 liter container filled to the 1 liter mark. So this is 1 liter of water. Step 2. Pour 1 liter of water into a container. Mark the level of the water with a piece of tape. Draw the container below and name the container. Okay, well, our first container is a loaf pan. So here's our loaf pan. It is filled with water to the with 1 liter of water. I poured 1 liter of water into this loaf pan. So this amount of water was poured into this container. And this is where it came up to, was this line. So we're going to, for container 1, over here, we're going to draw a loaf pan. We call it loaf pan. For container 2, I poured again 1 liter's worth of water into this container here. And look at this one. This is a water bottle, okay? And it's filled all the way up to this line right here. So that's also 1 liter of water. So for our second container, we're going to call it a water bottle. We should not have drawn on the line, but we'll write around it: water bottle. For container 3, I poured 1 liter of water. Again, this amount of water I poured into this cookie jar. So you see the line, here's 1 liter of water, the line, sorry, it's not even, it's not sitting on a flat surface. So there's 1 liter of water also. Okay, so we're going to go back over to our paper. We're going to write, I'm going to draw a cookie jar. Cookie jar. All right, and container 4. I again took 1 liter of water and poured it into this bowl right here. 1 liter of water only came to this line right here, so you can hardly see it in there. So it's all the way down here. So each of these containers has 1 liter of water. Move my cord. Okay, so we're going to do a salad bowl. Okay, math talk. Draw conclusions. What happens to the liquid volume when you pour the same amount of liquid into different size containers? Well, what was the liquid volume every time? It was still what? It was still 1 liter. So the liquid volume remains the same. So let's write that down. The liquid volume remains or stays the same when poured into different containers. You may pause if you need to copy that down. All right, and then number 1, how much water did you pour into each container? Well, what did we say? We poured 1 liter of water into each container, right? So 1 liter. Which containers are mostly full? And let's describe them. Well, this one is mostly full. It's more than halfway full, right? So the loaf pan. Is it tall or short? It's short, right? It's the shortest of the containers. So it is short. Is it wide or narrow? It's most definitely wide. It's wide, just like the salad bowl is, right? So we'll put, it's not narrow like these, so we will put that it's wide. So it's short and wide. Let's see, what's next? Is a water bottle mostly full? Yeah, it's over half full too, isn't it? So the water bottle also. Is it tall or short? That's the tallest of our containers, right? So it's tall. And is it wide or narrow? It's the most narrow of our containers. So tall and narrow. Number 3, which containers are mostly empty? Describe them. Okay, so we know it's not the loaf pan or the water bottle. What about the cookie jar? The cookie jar isn't even halfway full, is it? So let's write that the cookie jar is mostly empty. Is it short or tall? Well, it's definitely taller than the loaf pan, so it's not as tall as the water bottle, but it's still fairly tall. So let's say that it's tall. Is it narrow like the water bottle, or is it wide? It's wide, right? So tall and wide. Then what do we have left? The salad bowl's most definitely mostly empty, right? So salad bowl. Is it tall or short? Well, it is probably, it's taller than the loaf pan, but it's quite a bit shorter than the water bottle, so it's about in the middle. So it's not real short. Let's say that it's tall. And is it narrow or wide? It's definitely very wide. That and the loaf pan are both wide, so tall and wide. Okay, let's move on. We are going to turn to page 600. Okay, so a full glass, compare liquid volumes. A full glass holds less than 1 liter. So this glass is small, it fits in his hand, right? And it maybe has a wide mouth, but it's narrow at the bottom, so it doesn't even hold a liter. So it's less than a liter. A water bottle, just like the one that we filled, holds about 1 liter. It's really close to holding that liter, if not just a tiny bit bigger, but it's right around that size. A fish bowl is tall and wide and holds more than 1 liter. Activity 2. This is difficult to do on video, so what I would like you to do is, if it's okay with an adult, you can go ahead and do activity 2 at home on your own. You would need a liter beaker with 5 different containers and water to complete this activity. Now we are going to move on to page 601. Share and show. The beaker is filled with water. Is the amount more than 1 liter, about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter? Well, if you look at the beaker and you look at the fill line, it's right here at the 1 liter, so it's about 1 liter. Estimate how much liquid volume there will be when the container is filled. Write more than 1 liter, about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter. Okay, number 2, a cup of tea. Well, a cup of tea is definitely smaller than all of the containers that we filled. It's very small, so I would say it's less than 1 liter. Then, number 3 is the kitchen sink. Well, if you look at a kitchen sink is most definitely bigger than the other containers we filled, correct? Because it has 2 big hollow empty basins. So I would guess that it would definitely hold more than 1 liter. Number 4, a teapot. Well, a teapot is close to the size that the water bottle is that we filled up, so we'll say that that holds about 1 liter. All right, on your own. Estimate how much liquid volume there will be when the container is filled. Write more than 1 liter, about 1 liter, or less than 1 liter. Well, a pitcher we know is bigger than the water bottle that we filled, so we would say that this is more than 1 liter. A juice box is probably about the size or smaller than the cup of tea we talked about for number 2, so we would say that that's less than 1 liter. Punch bowl. Well, a punch bowl is probably as big as the salad bowl that we filled, and that obviously held a lot more than 1 liter, so we will say more than 1 liter. Math talk. Generalize. How can you estimate the liquid volume in a container? So in all of these containers, how do we estimate the liquid volume? Well, we can visualize, right? We can visualize pouring a 1 liter beaker of liquid what we're using, water, into the container. So depending on what it is, so we can always visualize pouring 1 liter of liquid water into the container repeatedly to estimate the what? What are we trying to find? The liquid volume. All right. Once you have that copied, let's go down to 8 through 10. Use the pictures for 8 through 10. Rosario pours juice into 4 bottles that are the same size. Number 8. Did Rosario pour the same amount into each bottle? Well, if the bottles are all the same size, then the liquids are different amounts because the bottles are the same size, so the liquids are different amounts. So no, she did not. Number 9, which bottle has the least amount of juice? Well, which line or which level is the lowest? It's bottle W, right? And which bottle has the most juice for number 10? Well, if you look, the one that's the most filled and has the highest liquid level line is Y, so bottle Y.